Yeah, the tape is moving and it's recording what we say. Is that okay with everybody? Just wanted to ask because it's something a bit different. I'll pop it in the middle so if we can speak loudly for the purposes of Heather and Hannah when they're transcribing it, or Debbie. Apparently I say so quite a lot, and if you slow me down I sound really drunk, but to be honest, I sound drunk all the time. Yeah, so at a really high level, what we're wanting to do is have a look at Middlebrook's one-page plan. It's good to take a step back from all of the individual tasks that we've been doing. We've done the task analysis that everyone's completed, and that's going round again at the moment with more tasks that have been added onto it so that everyone can have a look at that. But it's quite good to take a step back and say, well, what is it that we're trying to do, where is it we're trying to shoot for? So this is the Middlebrooks plan for Middlebrooks to make £1 million a year in profit. And what we're trying to do is, what I would like to do as part of this, to try to inspire how we could all make £1 million a year. And I've said that to everybody because it's not out with the realms of possibility, but there's lots of work that we need to do to get there. But it's good to know that we've got a goal. Now, that's my personal goal. You guys all might have your own different goal, but I don't think earning £1 million a year is a bad goal to have. So what we've done in the other offices is we've recreated the one-page plan, and you'll have seen from the email I sent round, the spin in Glasgow, the spin in Manchester, the goals were slightly different from Glasgow. The winner of the extra prize is Katie, because she was the first and only person that came back to me, which is a bit of a shame, but hey ho.
I'm always up for a prize.
Katie gets a bottle of Prosecco next week, which was the prize.
I didn't, because I knew which one it was.
I knew from the picture, but
that was the whole point.
Yeah.
Because I gave you that to take down to Manchester, and when I seen it was that one, I thought, well, that's a bit unfair, because I already know that you took that down to Manchester.
Do you know what?
I used that to my advantage.
It wasn't a steward's inquiry, it was
right.
Get in there first, you'd missed out on a bottle of fizz. Yes. Next time, elbow your colleagues out of the way. A little bit of healthy competition. So what we did was, in Manchester, the focus in the bottom bit was very much, Lisa and Jason were talking about the website.
Yeah.
And the focus in Glasgow was very much on getting down the arrears and the IVs. So I'm really interested about today, because this is the first time that we'll maybe have less of an IVA focus, I'm hoping, in the one-page plan, because we've got a broader mix of people that are sitting around the table. And by that I don't mean that it's just going to be all core team stuff, but we've got Debbie and your two selves sitting around the table, and your goals might be different. Chris's goal is to make sure that the kitchen is tidy at the end of the day, for example.
Can I give me started?
I'm not going to, I don't want to give me started. Don't want to But it's, and it might be that the toilet, and the reason that we're doing this is in the run-up to our team day, when we're going to be talking about our values. And so I wanted to use the one-page plan as a way to get us all thinking about these 4 things that are around the walls. So I'll start us off with our vision and our mission and kind of paraphrase it a little bit. So when I was looking at this, and I thought, well, how could I quickly paraphrase our vision? And I'm going to be bold, Chris, and I'm going to say that our mission is to be positive. And that is a bold statement to make. It's a bold statement to make this morning at 8 o'clock when I'm having a really frustrating conversation with the accountant. But actually, if I then put on my positive pants, also known as my Christmas pants, and I felt a lot better. I didn't have the photo, no pants on, right? But my point is, I get myself into such overdone. So, I guess what I'm trying to say is that we can try and be positive with everything that we're doing. Katie and I had a really positive discussion yesterday about something that had gone awry, and I actually thought it was a hope. From my perspective, it went really well, and what we managed to do is we managed to have a look at something that had gone awry and fix it, because we were both coming at it from a positive angle. And our mission is to work in a dynamic team environment. That was my kind of paraphrasing of our mission, because again, I hope that the team that we've got is a positive team and the environment that we're working in is dynamic. So this next bit is about our culture, and our culture is about our values, which are all around the room. And what I've done in the other two offices is throw this onto the floor, and who wants to be the first to say which value means the most to you, and what do you think is good about it, what do you think is bad about it, what could we do to make it even better? I'm going to pick on you, Brooke. What do you think?
I'm not too sure. I hate getting put on the spot.
Okay then, I'll put Finlay on the spot.
Mine is we don't judge one.
Uh-huh.
Because the people we deal with are in, you know, they're in bad situation.
Yep.
It's not very nice. So
Uh-huh.
the fact that we go in with like sort of an open eye and think, no matter what the situation is, we'll deal with everyone the same.
Uh-huh.
And if we go in with that, we're more likely to have a positive outcome.
Uh-huh.
Like the top.
Yep.
Top part.
Uh-huh. Cool. What do you think about that, Brooke? Do you think that makes sense to you?
Yeah.
Do you think that could be something that we do? I think that's something Kate and I did really good yesterday. We didn't judge one another, did we?
You didn't judge me for my mistake.
Everyone makes mistakes. I
Yep.
talk about what pants I'm wearing at any one point. It's not really a topic I thought I would be going to today. What about some of the other ones? Has anybody else got any other thoughts?
I think that we don't look back.
Uh-huh.
Going to what the conversation we had yesterday, where the mistake was made, but we didn't look back and like blame how that happened. We just figured out how to make it not happen again.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So it was like for the future.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with Kate on that.
Really?
I like that. You could spend days, weeks, months, even years looking back and saying, oh, you know, if only this had happened, if only that had happened.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, there comes a point, if that person had
did
said that or that had done that,
Yeah.
there comes a point where you say, you know what, you can't change the past. The past is the past. That's why
Yeah.
they call it the past.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can learn from your mistakes, but there's no point spending time dwelling on what happened. You can look at why it happened,
Mm-hmm.
but you're never going to change what happened.
No.
You can change why something happened, but
Yeah.
you can't change what happened.
Yeah. What about this side of the table from Kate down? What do you girls think?
I agree with them.
Yeah, I agree.
I like it when people agree.
Learn from your mistakes and try not to make them again.
Yeah, I agree with Katie and Chris, because I think it's important not to look in the past, but it's important to look to the future to see if you were in that situation again.
I agree with Finlay as well.
Yeah.
What consensus? This is brilliant. So one of the things that we're going to be doing on a team day is talking about our values and talking about how we portray them externally, but how we interact internally as well, and how we. It's great that I love the fact that you've all picked a We Don't Judge one, because I think that internally that's probably a really, really good one to look at, because it's all very easy when everyone's agreeing to be friends. Sometimes when there's different points of view, I've benefited greatly from speaking with Alan, for example, and learning how to tackle things so that I don't cause offence. I still do, because I'm a human being. But if I talk about my positive pants at the start of every conversation going forward, I don't think any offence can be caused. And so we're going to be doing quite a bit of that on the team day. And I think that can only be a good life skill for everyone to have. So the next bit of the Middlebrooks one-page plan and the route to glory is talking about our successes. And when this one-page plan was put together, these were the 4 successes that I felt that we had in Middlebrooks. And I wonder if anyone either wildly disagrees with them, which would be wonderful, or madly agrees with them, which would also be wonderful.
Happy team.
Do you think that that's the truth?
Yes, I think
That's
we
Could have been one of two ways.
Are we doing it? Well done, Finlay.
Because like very rarely do we have any like confrontation or anything like that.
Only about the kitchen.
Didn't get me started in that kitchen again, Katie.
But no, and it definitely helps to
Mm-hmm.
be in a work environment. So
Yeah. Oh, that's nice. That's good. I'd be interested for the team day if we can expand on that find out why we're happy.
Yeah.
I know that Alan's going to be doing sessions, and I think we've also got HR department coming in, and I can talk a little bit more about the team day at this roadshow because we know more about what's happening, which is really good. But I think it would be interesting so that we can actually be that shining beacon for everybody else and say, look, this is how we've done it. I've already had several people approaching me as a result of the Silver Investors in People Award saying, how have you done it? And I said, well, actually, it started with health and safety. That's how it all started, about getting us all talking. So it's interesting how different people say. What about some of the other success criteria? Is there any that you wildly, I don't know, disagree with?
I think those are definitely the headline success criteria, but one thing that I think is maybe missing from there, or what I feel, is that we kind of never rest on our laurels. We never just get to a point where we're happy with what we're doing, our processes, the work. We're always looking, we're constantly looking ahead. What we're going to do next, how we're going to make it better. And I think that's our success criteria, is that we're constantly adapting, we're constantly, we've got our finger on the pulse as regards to what others are doing or what others aren't doing. And I just think, these are definitely the headline ones, but I think that's definitely something that we're really successful at, is looking ahead.
Innovative and dynamic and exactly like you say, always reviewing and improving and looking to make things even better.
Cool. These are all good things. And I started this off in Glasgow, and I started off probably wrongly, and I'm going to do it differently here if that's okay. For the younger members of the team that have maybe not been in the working environment as long as me with my different coloured hair, what would you think about the definition of the marketplace that we work in? If you were talking to your friends in, where's the nightclub that you go to? Shanghai.
Fingers.
No, that's where old people
So, in the nightclub that you go to, if your friend said, "How do you Snapchat?" What is it that you do? What type of industry do you work in? What would you say straight away?
Do you mean like who are our customers?
Yeah.
So who are our customers?
That's a hard one because do you mean like as in the IV like clients?
Yeah, exactly. What it means to you. And by the way, there's no wrong answers here. There's also no extra bottles of recycled getting given out.
Well, usually I just explain the two different teams. I explain when someone asks where I work, and I say I deal with the English side.
Yeah.
And I'll explain the website as well, and what customers we get on there.
Yeah.
Not really sure.
No, but that's brilliant, because I think one of the things that we're looking to do all the time, as Rob said, is be dynamic and be innovative. And there's nobody more dynamic and innovative than the young people that are sitting around this table, because at the risk of quoting Michael Jackson, you're the future. And really, I'm on a roll today, haven't I? Actually on a roll. I have not been drinking this morning, I promise. What we're trying to do with the website and what we've been trying to do with all the technology is to be ahead of the curve. And I think we had a conversation a few weeks ago, Finlay, about why do you think 18-year-olds go into debt, and you were involved in it, Catherine, as well. And it's interesting to hear your opinion on the marketplace that we work in. What about yourself, Catherine? What would you say to your pals about the people that you work with and the wider environment that Middlebrooks works in?
I'm not sure.
That's also a good answer. That's a really good answer, because some days I'm not sure either. Do you talk about the English stuff like Brooke does?
Yeah.
As I say, I work for an insolvency firm, people that are in financial distress and helping them be better off their financial affairs.
That's exactly what we're doing. Perfect. So you do know exactly what we're doing. Awesome. Maybe I will give out more Prosecco. See, for the people that have maybe worked in insolvency firms before, what would you say about the wider industry? I'm probably looking at Katie, Chris, and Rob a little bit here.
I would say that we are working in an industry where there is a lot of competition and competitors, and here we're trying to set ourselves apart from those bigger firms and have more of a personal service and more of a specialised service.
I think we're one of the only firms, particularly in Scotland, who covers the United Kingdom and Northern Ireland from one location. So a lot of other firms will have multiple locations, but they'll specialise within that area. Whereas we specialise. There's not a process that we can't do, whether that's England, Scotland, Wales, or Ireland. And as a small business, I think that's a huge achievement. So we've got so much expertise, and we've got so good systems and processes that we can do that.
Yeah. I mean, certainly from my background, I worked in a big, massive accountancy firm, not just insolvency, it was accountancy that I worked in. And they were very strict in who done what. Well, you worked there, Claire, you know as well, you were there for a while. And it was very much, if you worked in personal insolvency, you didn't work in corporate insolvency. If you worked in insolvency at all, you didn't work in audit. Audit didn't work in tax. And it was, everybody was in a wee compartment, and that was it. What I like about here is that nobody's in a compartment. If you want to move from one place to the other, the opportunity's there. It's there for you. I had very, very limited IVA experience when I came and spoke to Rob a couple of years ago. We sat in this room, and you said, this is what we want to do. This is it. We want to be the guys that are different than everybody else. We want to go into that IVA market. We need folk to do it. And I sat there and I said, well, look, I'll put my hands up. I would love to say I'm your man because I know everything about IVAs. I said, but I don't. But I'm happy to come in and learn it. And that was working. And from working in a great big firm to the only other insolvency firm I worked in, the director stole all the money. So as long as that doesn't happen, we should be fine.
I was going to do that, my mum won't let me. It's interesting to hear people's views, and I'm sorry, Catherine and Brooke, for putting you on the spot. It's a tricky thing to talk about, but it's a really interesting one to talk about as well, because everybody's viewpoint is important. Megan, what do you think about our brand promise?
I agree with it because, like they were saying before, we don't judge people for the situation they're in or how they've got in the situation. We're literally just here to help them and help them get past it and move forward.
And with your experience of working a little bit more with the directors, do you think it fits working with them as well as working with the individuals in the IVs or whatever?
Yeah, well, I was going to say it's kind of the same. It's not obviously the same, but in the same way, we don't judge how their company's ended up, how it has. We just help them move forward from it. Kind of get a fresh start.
Yeah.
I think that Edinburgh's good as well, that we want to help you move forward, because it's kind of saying that we will do everything we can to help you get to where you want to be. So I think that's quite a good bit as well.
And it kind of falls back onto what we were talking about earlier, don't look back. What's done is done.
Yeah.
I bet if you went on Trustpilot right now and you typed in search for keywords for the 35 reviews that are there for right across the business, you would see judge, you would see help, move forward, you would see, I can guarantee you these things have been quoted by some clients. So it just shows that that's our brand promise. I think we've followed through that because people are saying these things about us.
It's an understanding that financial problems can be embarrassing, stressful, and not easy to talk about, let alone to a stranger. So just having compassion that, you know, someone has gotten into that situation and helping them to get out of it, rather than, you know, digging into why they've gotten into the situation. You know, making it uncomfortable for them.
Cool. The last little bit in this section, which is about is our USP, which is our unique selling point. And I put down some unique selling points, and I think it was this bit that Jason, he disagreed with the fact that we were ahead of the curve with technology. I think, was that right, in Manchester?
Yeah. There was
it was interesting.
There was a tinge to say, I think, there's a lot of other IPs using technologies out there, and which, they are. But we don't know to what extent. I'm sure they're not fully paperless. I'm sure they've still got filing cabinets about their office. I'm sure they don't deliver the majority of their documents electronically. I don't know. I don't know if they're using SMSs.
We're now using WhatsApp, Rob.
WhatsApp,
Rob's still not using WhatsApp.
Well, I didn't know what WhatsApp is.
I'm not going to
He's sitting there in fingers, with his pals. What's this WhatsApp thing?
When he's dancing.
I'm living the moment. I'm in fingers. I'm not on my phone.
If you were to look at most other insolvency practitioners' websites, they probably would say something quite similar to our brand promise. I think, personally, what is different is we're actually living it, and we're not just saying it. So we've always got to think of something that's going to lift our heads above the parapet. And I don't know if anybody else wildly disagrees with our use of technology, or whether they think we could use it more, or...
I don't know and obviously I don't work in that English market massively, but I would be surprised if there was other insolvency practitioners using stuff like the portal to get all the documents signed. I would imagine there would be a lot of them will still be relying on sending stuff by post.
I don't know of anyone else that's as paperless and as using technology as much. Like there's some firms that are moving to paperless, but we still have paper, or we do use technology for meetings and things, but we don't always do it. I don't know of anyone from like places I've worked or just discussions with other people at courses and things that is as far on.
I mean, certainly for an IVA side, how many of our IVAs do we send stuff out in the post then? Very few. Of the 400 or 500 that we have approved, how many of them have we actually sent out the proposals and everything to? I bet it's less than 5%.
I hope so.
I would think it'd be less than 5% who have said, I don't want to use the portal, I want it sent in the post.
I think when we were down in Manchester, Lisa and Jason raised a good point. I think this is one of their points on this, was that, standing orders, and they wanted to move back to sending the standing order by post, so you can send that to the bank, the traditional way we would do, because the bank would accept an electronic one. I feel that would be a step back. I think there's a much better process whereby providing the client with the details to set up a standing order is a quicker and easier way of doing it, cheaper way.
And you just go on the app and you put in the sort of
anytime I've ever sent one out, they've never sent it back, they've always just done it themselves.
When was the last time you personally filled out a standing order mandate? I mean, you go on your app and you just get the details and it's done.
This is the thing, I think there is a cultural difference between the way things are done in England and the way things are done in Scotland. And I think we've not reinvented the wheel with anything, but a combination of our processes, our systems. I think we've got a fresh approach right across the board, but equally we can deal with someone's IVA and never ever meet them. Equally, if someone wants to meet us, we've got the whole UK covered. If somebody in Scotland wants to meet us, we can get them. Somebody in England wants to do it, then Lisa or Jason can meet them. So we're happy to meet somebody face to face. And we can do that, but we're going to use these systems to our advantage.
I mean, like standing order mandates are like bank branches. The reason bank branches are shutting is not because banks are cutting back on it and the cost of that. That's certainly part of it, but because people don't use them. When was the last time you actually were in a bank? I can tell you the last time I was actually went into the bank to do something. I do everything on my app on my phone, including setting up standing orders.
Yeah.
Do you ever worry that our use of technology, given the environment that we're working in and given that it's embarrassing to talk about debt, could be counterproductive?
I think the opposite.
Do you?
Yeah, if you're embarrassed, I think you would rather have a wee bit of distance between you and the person, like sitting face to face with someone and saying, oh, you know, I've gotten in such a mess, this has happened, can be trickier than having the separation of being able to do it. And I think a lot of people probably prefer not having to take, it's probably a more daunting step to actually have to physically walk in the door rather than just, you know, chat online or over the phone.
And there's also a certain almost an embarrassment factor attached to it, that people don't want somebody in a suit, parking outside the house, parking a car, coming out, carrying a briefcase, clearly got like a computer or something in it, and going into their house and sitting and talking to them about debt, because they'll be, you know, the curtain twitchers will be there.
Yeah.
Oh, aye, what are they up to?
Do you think the younger, and forgive me if I'm offending anyone here, I'm really not meaning to, I'm just asking a question. The younger group, at the moment, I'm not aware that any of you have got mortgages or have got flats that you're renting, but if you could imagine yourself in a place when you're 25, ripe old age, or even 30,
what group am I falling into here?
40. But if you, let's imagine that you've got your flat whether you're 25, 30 or 40. With the way that you use technology just now, would you think it would be easier to be texting someone about money problems, or do you think it would be easier having a phone call? Or
I would much rather do it as my first. It would be like an email or a message, like a chat, and then it would be phone call, and then it would be coming.
Yeah, I think it would be more daunting coming and speaking to someone face to face with it, definitely.
I think I would prefer to do it technology wise, because I know from someone in my family, they got themselves in a really big mess because they were too embarrassed to go speak to someone face to face.
Right.
So I think the technology side is a lot, like I think will help more people by them being able to do it through the phone rather than having to come in, because I know that's what stopped them.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like people put off speaking to people face to face about it.
Really?
Yeah.
It comes down to embarrassment as well. No one wants to have that.
Yeah, they feel like ashamed of themselves.
Figure around them that I've got financial problems.
Yeah, you maybe build up the confidence to take that first step and arrange the meeting, but by the time the meeting comes, you've talked yourself right out of it. Whereas if you've got like the online chat or whatever, you're like, right, I'm going to do it, and you get an instant thing going.
Yeah, and you're already
then you're in it and you're
Because if you could then build up that rapport, so initially build up that rapport, that trust, WhatsApp or chat boxes, get some basic information, build up the rapport, build that trust, and then if it was staged, like then there was an email, letter, and then if need be there was a meeting at the end of that, but you're not just going straight into
I feel like that is
so
if there was like initial contact, but it's over like a text or a phone call or something, I think that would definitely help.
Well, you're not involved in the very start, like even the core work, but like.
Would you like to be?
I presume it's the same for when having conversations with Claire and everything like that. They probably have a telephone call, and then maybe be a bit wary at the start, and then after a couple of phone calls or
I
chat,
feel after the phone
more
calls
confident
we feel more
meeting.
confident.
It seems like, just from sort of what I've seen, that the random phone calls in for advice and things are all mostly from directors who have that little bit of distance. It's not such it is still personal and it can be difficult for them, but they have that distance. You don't get as many like just people off the street that phone up and say, oh, I need some debt advice. So that to me says that there is still that like taboo about a wee bit being embarrassed
Good
about
point.
it.
A lot of the time they're referred, so there might be that they go to the accountant and they say, oh, my accountant told me to phone Claire.
Yeah.
So they've kind of been referred, but you don't really see that straight off, oh, I got your number on Google.
A lot of the calls that seem to come in, it is like who phones say, oh, I want to arrange a meeting.
Yeah.
From what I've seen, they are all like more corporate ones rather than individuals.
Yeah, that's a good observation.
Well, the name of the company is Middlebrooks Business Recovery and Advice.
Yeah.
If I was just a person on the street, I think that didn't apply to me because it was for companies.
Yeah. No, that is
a
it.
point.
I've always thought that. most. I thought that's a really good observation.
Can I put that as a weakness then, maybe?
Yeah, that's a great
The
shout.
actual name of the company.
I think that stands for a few firms, though. A few firms have got similar
it might
names.
just be a bit misleading.
Because you'll get other names like so and so advisory, or debt advisory, or you know.
What would you do if you were out on Saturday night, Snapchatting your friends in whatever nightclub you are? Fingers for you. One of your friends.
I don't think he knows how to Snapchat. The
next thing we're getting, I've been watching your Gani guy on Instagram. We're going to get a TikTok account. And I'm thinking I'm going to get Madison on the TikTok account for Middlebrook.
Does anyone older know? I don't know that. Do you know that?
I know what it is.
I don't know. Do you know that?
I don't have a TikTok
I don't
account,
know
but
that.
I know what it is.
Do you
I
know
know
what
what
your
it is.
kids know?
We're so ahead of the curve that we're actually targeting 7-year-olds now.
They don't even know what debt is. But
No, but we're all going to help them when we get into debt. If you were out though, and your friends came up to you and said, I've got a Very account, a ASOS account, I've got a Pretty Little Thing account, blah blah blah, and I'll owe £10,000, what would you say?
I'd
Speak to
definitely
someone.
go speak to someone.
Yeah.
Who would you tell them to speak to? Don't say Middlebrooks.
Yeah.
Because that's the only
That is what they would say.
I hope.
Well, yeah, I know. Is it, I mean, would you...
Depending on how drunk they were, because if it was me and they were like, what about me? I'll give you the money. I'll sort that out for you. And then wake up the next morning, oh my god.
But it's back to what you say about the tabooing, I think, wider than Middlebrooks. In the market that we're working in, I think, why should it be so bad that you're in debt? Whether you're a director or an individual, you know, there's lots of different circumstances about it. And I think, you know, the marketplace that we work in could do with a little bit of PR, like Harry and Meghan.
I think part of the problem is that for so long there hasn't been enough of a taboo about debt, and actually it became socially acceptable to nobody saved up for cars. They went and got a car on finance. Nobody, you know, it became a credit card culture where you wanted to go on holiday, book it. You want to get a store card, here you go. I mean, you get it thrown at you. You go with your wee bag and you've got $19.99 and New Look, and they're like, you want to get a store card? They're like, for $19.99. I'll just use my debit card, thanks. But for so long, it was like, here's all the credit, you know, and like.
And when you're younger, it is overwhelming, and you're like, oh, you know, I could really do with 200 quid right now. Me walk
almost free money.
Like, it
does.
does.
Free money.
It's free money.
You know,
It's a free money thing.
Yeah, I've never got like unmanageable debt, but I've certainly made some bad choices on the Wonga loan and the store card, and I want some new trainers. Well, I don't have the money back. I can pay it next month, and then you know it does.
So I think there is definitely a culture for a long time about you can have it all, buy now, pay later, you know, interest-free credit for 10 years on your sofa. You know, for so long that was the culture. And although some people around the table will not remember the joy of 100% mortgages and more, I mean, now when we look back at that, we think, oh, it was actually quite bonkers that not only if you wanted to buy a house for £100,000 and the bank gave you £125,000 and said, there you go. And then, of course, then all the problems
Northern Rock brought down an entire bank. An entire bank. You know, together loans was just the craziest thing you've ever heard in your life.
Together loan.
And then everybody then tried to sell their properties, and they were getting, instead of getting £100,000 for their house, they were getting £80,000, and then all of a sudden they were starting off their young life and they had mountains of debt, plus all their credit cards and their store cards and their holidays to Magaluf and everything else. So for a long time we were in this culture of debt is fine, and now it is, we're sort of almost come full circle to nobody talks about, you know, own money to anybody.
Yeah, everybody talks about the good side of like, oh, I've got my new couch, I'm just paying £30 a month, but no one actually talks about the flip side of like, I'm paying 30 for my couch, 30 for my fridge, 30 for my TV, 200 for my car.
That's when Claire was asking me, Catherine and Brooke, of why young ones, why do they get in financial distress in usage, but it's because there's nothing in school. There's nothing like before you came in, it was in.
Yeah, you don't get like taught about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you're probably talking about parents who were born or don't remember the 80s even.
Yeah.
You know, when folk had to be really tight with their money.
Yeah.
You know, you've got young people who've got young parents that are in their 30s and 40s who also don't remember what being actually being skint is really like. You know,
there's really, if you're in a job like us, we can all get to the end of the month and say we're a bit skint, but there's kind of no such thing as really skint for most people now, because there is a Wonga loan, there is the Very Store card, there is so much credit available that skint is like
it's a fake term almost.
Yeah. I mean, if any of us had zero money, probably all could get a Wonga loan. Like, we're not, you could fix it, but then
within 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And it is within 10
minutes. Yeah.
Within minutes.
And it's only like 2,000% APR. That's like brilliant.
But when you say, 100 now, I pay them back 125 next month. That doesn't sound so bad, but then when you get to next month, you need 200 that month, and then.
That's it. And that's how you get it. That's
it's
it.
addictive.
It's interesting. Again, one of the reasons that I've recorded this is because this is all interesting. And it's interesting on a number of levels. What we're doing is we're talking about the Middlebrooks one-page plan, but we're talking about that is the very, very skeleton of the goals. And all the things that we're talking about just now, it's market intelligence. You know, how can we help the young people like Heather and Hannah who've literally just left school in the last 12 months? How can we help them if they get themselves into a pickle? You know, and there's lots of different things that we can do about that. So I wanted to record this so that we could just all speak freely and get involved and not take notes. If we're okay, shall we move on to the SWOT analysis of Middlebrooks? And I've started it there. A SWOT analysis is your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats. And there's an argument to say that a strength can be a weakness and vice versa, and a threat can be an opportunity. What we're trying to do is take a really objective look, and I actually analysed my husband Clive. There was quite a few weaknesses, I think. It's a good thing to do, and what we're trying to do is, even if you think it sounds difficult, Debbie was quite happy to tell me that she thinks the company name's a bit rubbish. That's cool. I can weep into my cup of tea or my glass of Debbie's in it. No, but I think what we're trying to do is, I might look at things through rose-coloured glasses, and what we've done in this section is looking at the company, what the strengths are, what the weaknesses are, what the opportunities could be, and what the threats are. Again, weaknesses, folk don't clean up the dishes in the kitchen. You know, that's a difficult conversation to have, but let's have it. And I'd actually like to start with where you think we are weak rather than where you think we're strong. So I'd put down some weaknesses there. And I wonder if you've got any comments to make on them. What we're going to do with all these things is I'm going to rewrite this for the team day, and we're going to do this again on the team day to start it off, so that we can start talking about our values and things. Because this bit's a bit easier because it's a bit more tangible.
I think I would feed back into the number 2 about like the lack of mocks, regulatory risk and personal risk. I think a weakness is that we sometimes will see a hole in what we're doing in our process, and we'll sort of talk about amongst us like, that's not working really well, we need to sort that, and then we just go quiet on it, and we don't actually take the corrective kind of action. Like, you know, yesterday when we were looking at the shareholder thing, and I was saying to you, that's obviously not working so well, we'll need to have a look at it, and then I just went and sat down. And really I should have thought, okay, who do I need to talk to about, like, what can I do to, if Hannah came to me with the problem, and if I can't solve it, then I should be pushing it to someone else. But in 6 months we could maybe have the same conversation and say, I was meant to fix that, or we were meant to do that, but we just didn't.
So like kind of like maybe getting a better way to follow up if we spot a gap.
I think
follow
we have
through.
like these little informal chats.
Yeah.
But then we think, right, I'm going to have a look at that.
Yeah.
And then, not through fault, we just maybe don't always do that. And then, so where we could be more streamlined and processed, there's still a wee hole.
Yeah.
We almost need to pop it on a post-it and put it on the wall, like something visual that we then revisit those post-its at some point and allocate them to people as drivers
just
to
a reminder,
make it happen.
And it is very easy to get caught up in your day-to-day routine.
Well, that's it.
I come in, I switch my laptop on, I check my emails, I know I've got a 6 3 at 10 o'clock, I review that 6 3, I do that 6 3, I do the engagement letter, I do it all sent out, I do it, and I move on to the next thing, and then it almost becomes an as well as, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
That stuff then becomes secondary to what your
If
job
you think
is.
of
If
it
you
like, this isn't my job.
Yes.
Inverted commas for the
Yeah.
this isn't my job.
Yeah.
Because it's not my actual casework, it's not on my diary, but actually we need to realise that obviously that is all of our job to do that as well.
I had a really interesting conversation with Alan yesterday about on the business and in the business, and I think that we're going to be doing some work about that on the team day. And that's exactly what you guys are saying. You're always so focused on what you've got to do for your day-to-day job. It's sometimes remembering to take that step back and think, actually, how can we make things better the next time? And reflect and thinking, right, actually, let's make a change now that'll make a difference in the future.
That's right. So you're maybe spending a little bit of time on it now, so that you can save time in 6 months' time.
Well, that's it.
Have the conversation again.
And it makes the client experience better the next time something like that happens, and
I would say
overall
your experience better as well.
And sometimes I personally sort of think, the example with Hannah yesterday when she was struggling with finding who the shareholders were, and I was talking it through with her, and then I thought, right, I need to go and talk to someone else about that. Like, I need to speak to Rob and just like bounce the idea off. But then I kind of feel like, number one, that's taking someone else's time, but also it feels like by just chatting about it, that's like not working, if you know what I mean. So I kind of feel like I need to wait for a time to do that, rather than where it should just be like you can. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like I'm skiving almost.
No, that's crazy.
Do you know? I don't know if I'm explaining it right.
I don't think you should be thinking like that. I mean, I bounced that idea off you yesterday and set some time in the diary. So we spoke about. I wouldn't mind catching up with you about this. I had a 5-10 minute chat, and then we put a note in the diary to follow up on Friday. So. You should never think about it.
I don't know if that's the right way to describe it. Just
no, I know what you
mean. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not sitting doing my casework and I'm just sitting having a blather about how we can't find the shareholder, and I'm just gabbing about that. Even though that is work, I'm not talking about like nonsense. But I don't know. I just feel like, that's not I'm just supposed to do my job, like sort of thing.
Okay.
It's interesting that. I love the fact that we're recording this, and we can take this is super interesting to take away. What about have we got other weaknesses? This is not a forever hold your peace, by the way. And look, I'm sorry, I'm giving off really bad body image here with my cross back and my cross leg. No, I do apologise, I'll be loose.
I mean, I see what you're saying about, like lack of mops and things like that. I think mops are great. And the principle of, it's great to have if you want to do this, you do step 1, step 2, step 3. That's brilliant for giving somebody an overview of how you do it. But it's not actually showing them why you do it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And the mops don't always fit exactly what you're trying to achieve.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? And it can be like, the mops are good for giving you a brief overview of somebody's job. Like, I could pick up some of the mops for the core team, and I could say, alright, I can read that and I can follow it. And it makes sense to me as to why. But it tells you how to do it. It doesn't tell you why you're doing it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And I think we need to get a bit more into the why you're doing what you're doing, rather than just, this is how you do it. So here's a manual, here's 50 mops, read that over, and then here's your caseload. On you go.
You quite often
actually
ask, I know how to do it, but
Yeah.
What is this?
What is it? Why are
we
we
do ask quite a lot.
I'd rather know why I was doing it before. How do you do it? I'd rather know why am I doing this, and then from that, how do you do it?
Given that I've filled the space in weakness, can I put in maybe would that be, could we put it in a threat that because people don't know why they're doing something, they're maybe less engaged in the task?
Yes.
Would that be a good place to put this so that we capture it?
Especially for younger ones, like I say younger ones. I mean, like
less experience.
Yeah, like Hannah and Heather, who have just done their best, but if they were to, when the opportunity comes to go into the team, instead of just giving them this mock, it's good, but you need to know why they're doing certain things before.
Yeah, I think if you know why, you'll gain a deeper understanding of it.
Yeah, that's why me and Barbara in the cashier and mock manual, we have, before every mock, we've got a background sort of of it. Me and her sat down and wrote backgrounds for them all. But mostly Barbara because I don't know. But now I do. So we've got a bit for the mock that says why you do it and what it may lead to and why it's important as well.
So can I put the cashier manual in a strength then? Because it's giving you what you need, and that could be like a kind of gold standard then, something that we all are aiming for.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, the mocks are great as a learning tool, but they're not the be all and end all of this is how you read the mock manual from start to finish, and if you understand it all, you will know everything there is to know about middle routes. You can't use it like that.
No, I think the MOPs are complementary to the training and development that you get as part of your role. The MOPs are there to confirm and outline what the procedure is, but they're no substitute for training and development, which comes from time with your peers, it comes from the courses and workshops that you're sent on, it comes from the development opportunities that you get given as part of your role all the time. Nobody's going to give a new person coming into Middlebrooks a pile of mops and say there's how to be a case administrator, but there's so many benefits to having that process clearly defined, so that when you lose your way and you think, actually, wait a minute, where did I get that checklist from again? Oh yeah, download from IPS. Alright, yeah, I remember now. They're there to support and complement what we're already doing, rather than as a substitute for that.
As a reference manual.
Yes, absolutely. And I mean, in time there may be people who never need to look at a mop in order to do their jobs, but equally there'll be tasks that occur so infrequently that you need a bit of a reminder and a prompt. Yeah, I've got mops that I've written for myself, and sometimes I still look at my own mop, even though I wrote it. It's my process, just to refresh myself on actually what was I doing there and how did I log in and where did I need to save that. So
I think with the mops, I definitely don't utilise them as much as I should, but personally I find them a bit clunky. Like when I open the document and I'm confronted with 300 pages and it's not really in an order of appointment, next stage, and I'm just kind of oh my gosh, how do I find that?
Rob's all over that.
I find it a bit clunky.
Can I jump about a little bit so that we capture all this?
Sure, sorry,
No. I love jumping about. I am all over the shop.
Clunky.
Can I put a goal to sort of regulate these?
Yeah.
And as I've said before, these one-page plans, they're the Middlebrooks one-page plan, but you guys are Middlebrooks, so
I'm sure there must be a technology or something where you can click chapter 1 and it goes to chapter. There must be something
honestly,
that could make it more. You look like you've got it. Yeah.
I was actually, I will be speaking to you about that, because I wouldn't mind for the next quarter focusing on bringing these mops together in order. We're nearly there with the IVA one, and it will run it absolutely in order of.
Because there is definitely some good stuff in there. I'm just put off by having to look for it. That sounds really bad, but that's just me being honest.
I think it's a perfect thing to do.
And
I really appreciate when people are put off by things. In fact, I'll go on record as saying I'd rather hear when you're put off about something than when you absolutely love it, if I'm being totally truthful. Because that's the way that I genuinely feel, because if we don't know what's putting you off, then all of this work's getting done and then nobody's looking at it, and then
I think the
candid when
content is
frustrations
probably
arise.
great, but the layout and stuff, and I think there would maybe, I don't know how often you guys like pull up and look for stuff. I would say that you would come to me and say, how do I do it? Which likewise I would say to you, oh Megan, do you remember how to do that? Lauren, because of that kind of reason. And then I think we would also maybe be more engaged with doing the mocks if, like, you know, it would just kind of, because it is a great idea, like you said, but just maybe would bring it out together, and then everyone would be, we would see the gaps in it and fill them in and stuff easier.
So if I told you that I had a plan to make that mock run in order with loads of functionality, hyperlinks, videos, like in order of the process, properly indexed, give you the 2 options on how you want to view it. If I told you that was going to be there by the end of the year, would you be encouraged with that?
Yeah,
and actually I'm looking for someone to help me on the core team, because Catherine's really kindly helping me and we're making really good progress with the IVA mock manual, and I'm hoping that'll be finished soon. I'm looking for someone on the core team to start a project where we're putting it in order. And I was thinking about you.
Yeah, I would be like Katie and Megan would be perfect.
Yes,
to help you with that. I'm just going to volunteer you. Because we're the only 2 here. Oh, Finley's good. To be honest with you, the reason that the mock manuals are there are to the best in the world avoid that scenario that you just outlined there, which is Megan asking you and you asking Megan, and that's not, to come back to what you said earlier, so to make you feel like you're skiving. To be honest with you, that's not skiving at all. But how much more would we be able to achieve if we didn't have to have those conversations? Yeah.
Or if you have one conversation that takes 10 minutes and another half an hour to resolve that and put something in place, then actually the time that you're not, it's the opposite of skiving, because the time spent then for the next 10 times you approach that task and you can sail through it, you're probably doing it quicker. So a bit of hard work at the start of that will pay off.
I think though some people learn different, because I learn different to some people. I prefer someone show me. So if I read something, it doesn't go in. I have to go over it and then it'll go in. If someone shows me, I learn better that way, and then maybe I can refer to them up after, like what Debbie was saying, but I do need to be shown first. That's the way I learn better.
What if it was a video mock, so was somebody effectively screen sharing with you? Would that be a step in the right direction for you, rather than a standard mock, a video mock?
Because I like seeing it first, and then trying it myself, and then going back to the mock, just like.
So one screen video mock showing, click on that, and then you're on that screen doing it. That would work for you a little bit better.
That would work better.
So I think we're going to have that functionality there by the end of the year.
Because see, when I'm trying to read, like you've got like pages, and then you're trying to read through it, it just doesn't go into my head. I just confuse myself and then have to read it over again. I prefer to see it.
But there would still be the opportunity, surely, for, you know, say the mock is on like a sequestration account and it's Hannah or Heather's came into our team and it's their first ever time doing it. There would still be scope for one of us to sit with them and show them the first time, and then it's not like just here's the mock and they have to, like, we are still supposed to spend time or no, we're not.
Absolutely. I don't think the mocks are a substitute for interaction and engagement. I think it's probably worth redefining what the purposes of the mock are. Why do we have standard operating procedures? It's because there's legislative requirements, it's because there's mandatory processes, it's because there's things that have to be done a certain way, and if they're not done that way, then there's implications. It's that
I think we all want to do the same
balances.
thing.
We want to be doing it the same. So it's not an actual like go away and do your job and don't bother any of your colleagues. But equally there's not any benefit to you showing 5 people how to do the same thing over and over and over again. Actually,
and it's better to have someone to refer back to, because you've shown something once and then 3 weeks later doing it again.
You're never going to remember. I mean, the thing with the mocks also is that, going back to what you're saying, you know, that it is, we want it to be as up to date as possible. There is always the fact that, you know, our processes change. And that mock that was right 6 months ago when you read it is now out of date because the process has changed or the legislation's changed or the AIB in their infinite wisdom have just decided to change everything for no reason other than an opportunity for them to make some money. And when that happens, you've then got to go back and effectively you're almost back at the drawing board and saying, right, well that's wrong now, we're actually going to have to rewrite it. So when you do have that mock manual, like you say, that by the end of this year we won't have a nice interactive mock manual and everything like that. But then come this time next year, you may well find that 30 to 40% of it has changed. And you can't, you know...
I think you're coming from that from a really negative place. I think the groundwork is going to be there. The framework for that is going to be there. And that's going to benefit people who are swapping department, new recruits.
Yes.
I think if something like that was to occur, then I think we need to positively approach them up and update it. Simply update it.
Yeah, but you can't, what I'm saying is you can't just do it and say, right, that's the mock manual done.
No, but
and then that's it. And then, you know, as things change, there has to be that understanding of, well, somebody's going to have to go back and revise that and have a look and say what was right at the turn of the year, but as come summer might not be, so you might have to go back and
but as long as it's done,
it has to be changed.
I think as long as it's done in the right mindset, this is a document that's here to benefit us as a business, to benefit people, and we might need to spend some time updating it from time to time.
Yeah.
But there's huge rewards that come from that, so I don't see that as a huge issue, personally. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
If I'm allowed to chip in, the mock manual started live on a Friday night when I was having a Chinese with my mum and some wine, unsurprisingly. And there'd probably been a week where there'd been a lot of, we're not too sure where to get this or what to get this document or who understands this. And my mum was telling me that in the Royal Bank of Scotland they have standard operating procedures. And the standard operating procedures are there to assist. They're not there to replace. They're not there to tell you. They're not there to get rid of interaction with your colleagues at all. What they're there to do is to assist each and every person within Middlebrooks, everyone sitting around this table, everyone in Glasgow, everyone in Manchester, is an aid memoir as to how to undertake all of the different tasks that we've got to do. Because I've got to be honest with you, one of the biggest frustrations that I have with myself is I'll do a task on an annual basis. Really good example, I'm currently pulling together the Middlebrooks annual accounts for January 2019. And I look at the way that things have been posted, and I've not written it bloody down why I put my expenses in that particular chart of accounts. I'm now having a bit of a terse conversation with the accountant this morning saying, why are my annual accounts not ready? The year end was 31st of January. Well, that's because, Claire, in February you posted your expenses to 222. In March you posted them to 444. And you've been inconsistent. And what the MOPs are trying to do is to take away from that stress. And another stress I had when I was growing up through insolvency was I used to work in a firm called Arthur Anderson, where you typed out your letter, you printed it out, you gave it to your manager, and the manager just flung it back to you and said, that's all wrong, fix it. All right, okay. What's wrong? Well, I don't like that turn of phrase there. I don't like this font here. I don't like this format. So you then get to standard documents. And what we don't want is we don't want, let's say a die and there's a new IP that comes in. How pissed off would you all be to have to change your style for that new IP? Again, what we're trying to do is we're trying to standardise what we're doing where possible to try and get rid of that, because I don't know about you, but I'm pretty inconsistent. That's one of my weaknesses, because depending on how I'm feeling, it's quite obvious the decisions that I make. How annoyed are you guys with me when one day I'll say to you, right, let's do it this way, and then the following week I'm like, do you know what? Let's do it this way. See, you can say your mob, Claire, piss off. This is what the mob says. This is the way that we're doing it. We've got all these standard documents. So they're a bit of a backbone for everybody as well. And I really think it is brilliant that we're having this conversation about them, because it's good to get the feedback. It's good to get feedback about why they're frustrating, about what we can do to look at them. Rob's idea of doing the videos for you, Brooke, for example, I think that's amazing. Do I know how to do it? No. But I want to leave that to someone that's smarter than me. And it's all of these things are done to try and relieve the workplace frustrations, and that is not at all to replace training, proper training and everything like that. But what I'm wanting to get away from is Katie showed me how to do it this way, Lauren did it this way, Rob did it this way, Claire did it this way. So Megan's got to think, right, okay, I know how to do a sequestration account, but I know the way that Katie does it like that, so I need to do it like that for Katie, and I know that Claire does it like that, so I need to do it like that for Claire. And that's what we're trying to deal with the mobs.
Yep.
Here end? No. So our strength, weaknesses, strengths. Let's keep going. This is great.
For me, I'm probably one of these guys that keeps talking about it, but getting the time to do it is, I don't know, it just seems to be a challenge. But just processes.
Threats.
Threats, it's just processes. For me, I started with the KPI reports, and I think for me that was a change to the way we carried out that task, which I think works a lot better, and I'd like to replicate that for mobs. I'd like to replicate that for the start of an appointment and how we're doing things, so we're doing it the same, in the right order, how we name them, all that kind of stuff. I think there's so many opportunities within the process. I think the processes came on leaps and bounds in recent years. But I think there's gaps, I think there's weaknesses, and I personally would love to put a team together to start working through those processes, just to plug some gaps.
Like crack commando ninjas.
Like a crack team. I've got so many ideas.
Only
I've got so many.
Black.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
My villanelle
And even just the upcoming monitor visits just highlighted a couple of gaps for me, and I'd like to have more time to put a team together to plug these gaps and tweak processes where needed. So a bit of refinement. I'm not looking to reinvent the wheel, and I hope I can get some time real soon to do that.
We've already made a start by mapping out the client journey and looking at the tasks and everything. So it's not that this is new. We've already made great inroads. So it's just kind of like moving on to phase 2.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I think, coming back to our SWOT analysis of Middlebrooks is doing what it's doing now with all of these things that we're looking to refine. So when you look down to like the financial targets, which I'd be delighted to answer any particular questions that you've got about that, because we're not rewriting those are in stone. That's what we're aiming for. That's what I was having a conversation about this morning about forecasting. You know, what we're doing is we are going to be tying all of this into financial targets, and I'm using the word targets, you can use the word KPIs. I'm going on record again, these are not to be beaten with by a stick, but let's be honest, it's nice to know that you're aiming for something, and if we don't get to there, then I think it's an opportunity that we've got to look at our processes to see how we get to there. If we didn't have all of these brilliant initiatives and we were absolutely happy and all the mocks were done and you know all of these different things, and we were only doing the financial performance now, that would be pretty crap, wouldn't it? So I think it's all of these things that we've been talking about. Yeah, we've been talking about them as weaknesses and threats, but I actually think they're huge opportunities for all of us.
It's nice to be involved in like seeing that financial thing, because I've personally never worked somewhere where every single person from top to bottom sits around the table and sees something like that. I don't think many companies really share like that's that sort of side of things. I've never seen that before.
I'm hoping to go even further with that, and sharing as much as anybody really wants to know, to be truthful, because a little bit like talking about debt and how it's taboo, I think if we talk about finances and we talk about it all in a positive way, why is that a bad thing?
Yeah, it's almost in other places kept as like confidential, secretive, closed door meetings, and no one needs to know about the numbers. But it's nice to just have sight of like what the goal is.
And thanks for saying that, because I think that it's important to understand what it is that we're trying to aim for.
Yeah, you need to have something to aim for. Yeah. Otherwise you're just aimless. What's about you just wandering along and wandering about in a trance every day?
You're not growing, you're dying.
That's very profound. Villanelle. That targets, but I'm wanting to expand on this. The one-page plan is what it says. I hope that you're all familiar with the one-page plan. It is meant to be very high level, but with all the different things that we're doing, I would like to share more and more of that. So, for example, Rob's kind of revamped the KPI report so you can see what fees would be. Well, we've always had the kind of monthly, these are the fees, but it's probably been a bit meaningless. So if we know that what we're trying to do is by this time next year being a 3 million turnover business, well, when I do finalise the accounts, Middlebrooks to the 31st of January last year was a 1.9 million turnover business. So what we're looking to do is add on £1 million in the next year. How are we going to do that? Well, that's when you then start unpicking and saying, right, so these are the growth plans for the Right Off My Debt website, for example. These are the growth plans for, I think you've all heard me speaking about potentially doing a corporate version of the Right Off My Debt website. I would quite like to get a consumer credit licence so we can do DAS. Jason came up with some great suggestions about how we use the IDA bank that we've got at the moment to generate more income. I know that we've been discussing about how we can utilise the team, and for example, there's a lot of work that gets done on the core side that if we had other IDA people charging time to the cases, for example, in times where that bit's a bit quieter, we could actually increase that turnover just by getting no more work in right now with the bank that we've got. So increasing turnover doesn't mean that we're going to be getting millions more staff. We're just going to be looking a bit more strategically at the stuff that we've got and seeing how we can make it work better. And that's when I say about being more transparent. It's stuff like it's conversations like that I'd love to have. How nice would it? Well, Catherine and Brooke, you've been really involved in the Right Off My Debt website. If you know that you successfully get in Lisa or Chris an appointment to do a SIP 3, which Lisa and IVA means that actually you've increased Middlebrook's turnover for that year by X, which means that that's all tied into your remuneration and how you get further up the tree. Surely that could be a good thing. This is the hope. So a little bit like the MOP manuals and getting people's engagement and everything like that, I'm hopeful that with all the stuff that we've been doing, we can have those types of conversations in the future as well. And all of the work that we've been doing gives me the time to look at that as well, because time is the most precious asset that any of us have got. That was my Malcolm X speech. So our strengths, what would you wildly agree, wildly disagree with our strengths?
I would maybe put the technology in the strengths bit as well.
Would you?
Because I think, I don't know, I just feel like if a client phones up and wants to talk about a letter they've received or something, like the person who's taking the call can just go on DocSoft and find it within literally seconds, whereas if it was another firm and a client phoned up for the same thing, they'd probably get told, someone will phone you back when they find the letter, and they might not get a phone back, or it might be a couple of days later before they get a phone call back. So I would put the technology in the strength bit.
Yeah, that's a good point actually, because certainly places that I've worked before, it's been well, if you wait a minute, I'll go and get the folder. I'll go and grab the file. I'll grab the file.
Files with the court report, I can't tell you. I don't have it in the office.
Whereas we've actually not got that. Yeah. Everybody has access to every document.
Regardless of where you're sitting as well, like that allows us to be able to work remotely or to work from Glasgow, Manchester, wherever, without compromising. Like before at Begbie's, Charlene quite often worked from home, but she would have to really think about what am I going to need? And then she would take all these files with her because she didn't have access to her documents.
Yeah.
So, but here we've got all of that.
And also, you know, the process that's ongoing now of transferring trustees over for IPS to Vision Blues, they're going to move to our side, if you like. They don't like saying that. But the documents are already there. The documents aren't actually moving. They're still on DocuSoft. Everybody's files are on DocuSoft. Your files, my files. Everybody has access to everything. So I can access core team files. You know, you guys can access an IVA folder if, you know, somebody phones up about it. So all that's actually, it's just the system that they're logged on is changing. The documents are staying exactly where they are. That can only be a good thing.
Yeah, for sure. Our opportunities just to be better. Heightens millions. I could talk about opportunities all day long, every day of the week. And I have to put them. That's like
going off of like what we've said, an opportunity that we already seem to be pursuing is like streamlining processes and getting everything really slick and really, really neat, which is really exciting. I love that.
And everybody knows where everything is.
I wish I could do it quicker. That's my frustration. Is I've got the vision. It's not really even started.
What does Brad say? Make your dreams your goals, and your goals will happen, eh?
I know. It's going to be better. Honestly.
But already is.
Yeah, we're talking about it like it's terrible, which is not.
You know, I can only really comment on the IV side because I've not worked on the core team here. But look at where we were 2 years ago. Me, you, and Finlay sit there and say, "What do we do with this?" Looks alright to me. Maybe it is right, maybe it's not. Send it out, see what happens. We're not there now. We have that journey almost that we know when a case comes in. We're like, right, so I need to do this bit, I need to that bit, I need to that bit, I need to that bit.
And it just works
flows
itself,
much better. Whereas it's not where we were at that point, like I say, you know, us three sitting around the table saying, did that look right to you? Yeah. It's all right to me.
Yeah. No, it's a good process.
So the last bit on the one-page plan is the kind of key goals. And what I did was kind of split them out. It's more kind of years rather than, well, there's yearly goals and then there's the quarterly goals as to what we've done. And like you very beautifully highlighted, Chris, this document doesn't say the same forever either.
No.
Because you can't, you need to be able to be constantly, what is the word, disrupting what it is that you're doing, otherwise you just stagnate. So this document is already pretty much out of date because some of the goals that were on this document when I penned it in July, we've actually already smashed them out the park. Some of the goals we're still working on. And I think for me, what the theme of today's been, which has been brilliant because it's been totally different from Glasgow and from Manchester, are talking about the processes, are talking about streamlining the processes, and so we've got our organised mock goals, and I think it's really interesting that we've had the same document but with 3 different groups of people who've come at it from 3 different angles. I think it's fascinating.
Yeah.
And I get to do it again with Lauren and Barbara, so I'm really excited to see what they're going to say as well. Now that's not to say that we can't talk about the key goals section.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anything that we haven't covered today. And again, this is not a forever hold your peace thing, but if there's something that's glaringly obvious that we haven't covered today and there's not in that section, I'd be delighted to get some feedback.
I mean, is there a plan in place, almost not so much a plan, but a thought going forward of providing all staff with their own laptop and moving away so that everybody has a laptop that they can work on, so everyone would have the opportunity of working remotely?
Yes, there is. The process for the IT equipment is that as computers die, instead of new computers, it's going to be laptops. So that everybody will have docking stations. To answer your question about everybody working remotely, that is a process.
Yeah, not everybody working remote as in like you
we
open
don't have
the door in the morning
office.
and there's nobody here.
Yeah.
I mean, like everyone has the opportunity if they wished to.
I think that is the ultimate goal, Chris.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, there also has to be an understanding that we are an office and you have to have somebody in an office.
And there's also, as we've beautifully pointed out today, lots of processes that need to happen.
Yeah.
And whilst we all do work remotely, some of those processes do need to be done here.
Mm-hmm.
And also, to fling it back, if we don't get those processes and we still have to have conversations as a group, and Megan, how do I do this? Katie, how do I do this? Then actually that flies in the face of us being able to work remotely.
Yeah.
So if I can actually scoop it all up, if the wish is that we can all work remotely, then here's a great reason to get engaged behind MOPS, because part of the issue that we have is that if there aren't processes in place, we very much do need to have those conversations, and those conversations are conversations that need to be had face to face, eyeball to eyeball. And it's important, and it's great how it all fits in together. In order to work more agilely, which is work anywhere, and in order to work more flexibly, you actually have to be more rigid about the tasks that you're doing, so that nothing falls off the end of the desk.
Exactly. Yeah.
But to answer your question, stage one is going to be, as computers die, everyone's going to get laptops and docking stations. Was there a reason behind that, or is it because the laptops aren't very good, or?
No, the laptops are fine.
Are they alright?
No, they're great.
Because I've noticed a difference. I keep saying to Finlay, his computer looks sharper, and you think it's because we're using...
It's your laptop screen.
Really?
When it hooks up to the computer, it's got a sort of blur.
Yeah.
It's like a fuzziness.
No, you always say that when you come to my desk.
Yeah.
Once I tighten up the wire, it's fine.
Oh, now that actually is really key, Katie. DSE, if you've got a problem, you need to be coming and
I've
speaking
fixed it.
good, because we don't want to have to get more glasses.
No.
Well, we will get more glasses if we need more glasses, but
I don't need glasses.
We need, it's a good point to raise. If there is something the matter with your tech, we need to get it sorted. We don't know what we don't know.
Yeah. Something else I was thinking about was if we're moving forward.
So can I put work remotely as a goal then?
Yeah, not so much working remotely, but even working in the office. Would there be a possibility of, in teams, having an agreement where, I mean, I've not sat and written all of this out, but something that I had thought about was, if, for example, there was a team that say me and Brooke, right? Mm-hmm. We were pretty much doing the same job, so Brooke said to me, next week, could I do 8 till 5:15 Monday, Thursday, and take Friday off, and the week after, the other person would do the same. It doesn't have to be every week. I would just say, well, if you've done it for 1 week, I would maybe do it another week at another time, or something like that. And it would kind of help, because we'd have somebody in from 8 till 5, Monday to Thursday, and whoever wasn't doing that has the understanding that on the Friday they would have to do 9 till 5. I
think it's back to what I said before. In order to work remotely, agilely and flexibly, if the goal is, there is nothing that is off the table at Middlebrooks. Mm-hmm. On record, absolutely nothing. If you turn around and say, I want to work from Mauritius, right? Well, fine. Or at the outset of today, I said, this is my plan for Middlebrooks / shareholders of Middlebrooks earning £1 million a year. This is the impetus for everyone to be earning £1 million a year. But in order to get there, we've got a lot of work to do. So if the personal goals of Chris, if you don't mind me picking on you, if personal goals is that some weeks you only work 4 days, some weeks you work 3 days, but the understanding is that you make up the time at other times, fine, let's look at that. However, in order for us to get there, we need to ensure that all of our processes are so slick that the fact that you're not going to be about on a Friday doesn't result in, oh right, Chris, he's not in today, but Chris was supposed to be doing this over here, and I'm not too sure where he got to in that process, and then we get people phone in, I phoned in, blah, blah, blah. Do you see where I'm going with it?
Yep.
Because, being candid, if we're still getting phone calls like that and emails like that, which we are, then we're not going to get to the point. And I've got the will, Debbie's got the will, Rob's got the will. I think everybody around the table has got the will to try and make this work for them as much as possible. But I can't do it myself, Debbie can't, Rob can't. So that's where I came up with my lack of engagement. And we've discussed about it today. There is nothing that's off the table, absolutely nothing. And you know, if Megan says, you know what, I would actually like to work from home forever, right, okay, that's fine, let's look at that. But equally so, and I know I'm exaggerating, but equally so, if you want something, you need to work towards it.
Yeah. Can I just say, guys, if we move about 18 months back, 2 years, we didn't have a flexible working hours policy. No. So we trialled the flexible working hours policy. If you remember, you initially had to request that from a manager. We trialled that successfully. And then we moved to self-improving flexible with some ground rules. And there's been occasions where there's been 2 people working at the same time, and you've resolved it out yourself. And that process is working really successfully. Yeah. So that gives you an idea that we can put these processes in place, and they are for the benefit of everyone. And actually, we could be moving to something similar with holidays, changing the way we do holidays and self-improving that. Remotely working, we've shown that if there's a will and a need for it and it works and the process is there, then these are benefits that everyone will have. And I think there's more to come.
Yeah, well, that's the reason I raised it. If I thought that the answer was going to be hell no, go grab a jacket and go home, I wouldn't have said it.
Yeah, and I think it's a good, and that's the purpose of having meetings like this, having open discussions. And you know, and that's also, I'm going to go back to that's why we've recorded it, and when we get them transcribed, they're going to be filtered out to everybody. If folk don't read them, that's up to them. But it would be nice, because there's been a lot of really good stuff that's come out of these sessions, and I think that we could all go on from it to achieve our goals.
Mm-hmm. That's another good point, actually. That some of the benefits, the plus points. Yeah. Talk about these.
I think that's what you should be saying in your strengths, is the plus points that we have here. We do have flexible working. Mm-hmm. We do have the opportunity to work from home, and you know, it's no wonder. I would say that's a massive strength.
But even just for me, 2 additional plus points. We talked about technology, but from a work point of view, the systems we used, but also from a personal point of view, HR toolkit. HR toolkit. You can approve a holiday from the weekend on an app. Expenses, you can chuck them through zero on an app. These are huge benefits, I think, as well, that a lot of other firms don't have.
Yeah.
Outsourced departments for IT, for cashiering, for accountancy and things like that. Mm-hmm. It's all.
And also access to guys like Alan, like the action coach, coming in and doing days and things like that. Yeah, that's another thing that should be in there. Because I've not worked somewhere else that's done that.
I'll put that on there. So
never even had a team day before.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a picture of this, because I've taken a picture of the other 2, as I mentioned. Bottle of Prosecco for Katie.
I'm off the drink. No, I'm just kidding, I'm not. I'm not.
And I'll take a picture of this, and what we'll do is we will get it transcribed. Probably we're going to be looking at we might not manage to get that task done just before the team day on the 19th of September, but we will try and get that done and get all of the notes sent round to everybody. And I hope that you've all got something out of this morning. This is not a forever hold your peace. If there's something that you didn't feel quite comfortable sharing in the wider group, let me know. Speak to Rob, speak to Debbie, or speak to Katie, and I'm pretty sure it will get to the right person that it needs to get to.
I'm a gossip, I'll get around.
I'll stop the recording now, if that's alright, and let everyone get on with their day. Yep. Thank you very much, Gary, that was awesome.
Thank you.
Are you going to be using your one-page plan document? That made me steal it from you. I'm going to